Something huge is brewing as we have a new article linking Penguins forward Bryan Rust to the Edmonton Oilers, and this has Penguins fans absolutely fired up at what Kyle Dubas was able to get in return for the forward. Hello everyone, welcome back to Penguins Digest. My name is Nikash Ganguli. Hope everyone is having a great day whenever you guys are watching this. We have huge news regarding Pittsburgh Penguins longtime forward Bryan Rust and how he might be making his way to the Edmonton Oilers very, very soon. We'll be talking about what Bryan Rust could get in return from the Oilers, and also what he could do for the Edmonton Oilers, and how Kyle Dubas could take advantage of a dire situation. But before we get into that and more, make sure you guys do, of course, subscribe to the channel. We are at 67% of viewers who are not subscribed. So if you are in that large section of viewers who are not subscribed to Penguins Digest, make sure you do, of course, hit subscribe. We are covering all the Pittsburgh Penguins news throughout the offseason in the most digestible way fashionable here on Penguins Digest. So if you want to follow all the news and get as quick as you can, scroll a little bit down under this video. Hit the subscribe button. It's free. It's easy. And if you want notifications right on your phone or on your tablet, wherever you guys are watching this, hit that notification bell as well. And right when any Penguins news comes out, you can expect Penguins Digest to be covering it and have a video on it in a few minutes from the drop. Okay, I told you guys to subscribe. Let's get into the bulk of the video today. So, first things first, we do have this Josh Yohe article, who I think a lot of Penguins faithful know. He's a very esteemed writer for the Penguins. He did have this article. He said, Penguins trading Bryan Rust, Rickard Rakell might sting, but it's the right call. So today, of course, we are going to be focusing on Bryan Rust and the team he was linked to today, earlier this morning. And I think it does make sense to trade these two players. We have talked about a lot on this channel about people like Bryan Rust and Rickard Rakell, and a little bit about Sidney Crosby. I know Penguins fans think that's a touchy subject, but we do have to bring it up every now and then because of the state the Pittsburgh Penguins are in, of course. And Evgeni Malkin, Erik Karlsson, a little bit of Kris Letang. Maybe he won't be moved, but I think Bryan Rust is one of the main candidates that will be traded from the Pittsburgh Penguins in the near future. So let's get into the team he was linked to, which of course is the Edmonton Oilers. So today an article was posted on the Hockey News. It says, while most fans expected the Edmonton Oilers to make a change between the pipes this offseason, they have yet to do so, and instead of trying to bolster their forward depth, they acquire guys like Ike Howard, Andrew Mangiapane, and Curtis Lazar, but they don't seem to be done yet. And Bryan Rust seems like a guy that will fit in the Edmonton Oilers lineup perfectly. So another thing that kind of adds some flames to the fire here is this report from Dave Panatta of the fourth period. The Oilers are looking for a top 6 guy. Another one. So, Bryan Rust might be traded. The Oilers have been linked to him a few times. The Oilers are looking for a top 6 forward. It makes sense for the Penguins to trade him. So let's see if we can connect the dots here just a little bit. So if we look at the Pittsburgh Penguins lines, one main thing to think about is that Rickard Rakell, he might be traded, but Bryan Rust has been very equipped to play with very good players, mainly Sidney Crosby. And you know who the Edmonton Oilers have, of course, is Connor McDavid. So it is feasible to think that someone like Bryan Rust could play with the Connor McDavid and be a very good line mate there, because the Oilers are going to try and rely on a lot of young players to take care of their top 6. And I think Kyle Dubas is someone who could take advantage of the situation and say, hey, we have a top 6 forward with experience, with Stanley Cup experience. He's won the Cup already, and the Oilers have not done that. They keep trying to, but they've gone so close and they haven't. So why can't Kyle Dubas come in and be like, hey, I have this player, Bryan Rust. He's a little bit older, 33, has a ton of NHL experience, playoff experience, Stanley Cup experience, Stanley Cup winner, doesn't make a lot of money. We'll get into that a little bit later. Why not try and trade for him and take some prospects and picks from the Edmonton Oilers, because I think it could get to a point where they're a little bit desperate if some of these players don't work out for them. So, again, if we look at Bryan Rust's contract, of course, we can see that he makes $5.125 million for the next 2 seasons. And if Kyle Dubas wants to retain half of that, you can get that cap hit super, super low and make it even more enticing for the Oilers and really kind of expend them of all their assets for a guy like Bryan Rust. I think he's perfect for them. I think Kyle Dubas could take advantage of the situation, get some future picks, get some prospects that the Oilers have. Their cupboard isn't entirely full, but it does make sense for the Edmonton Oilers to trade for him. And I think it makes sense in a situation where Kyle Dubas could take a little bit of advantage of Stan Bowman and the situation they might be in, especially if we get closer to the trade deadline. Bryan Rust, of course, Penguins faithful. You guys know how good he is. Just an elite player, a very solid NHL guy. In last season, he had 65 points in 71 games. He's kind of been close to that point of game mark the past couple seasons. He hasn't exactly hit it yet, but I think he would be perfect for the Edmonton Oilers in a high-octane offense. Playing with a guy like McDavid or Draisaitl, I think, he is someone that would look good there. And he doesn't have any trade protection, so the Pittsburgh Penguins are free to trade him wherever he wants. I know Penguins fans might be sad to see a guy like Bryan Rust go, but I think once the return comes back and he will be playing in a better, spot, I think it will make a lot of sense for both sides. Again, another reason why the Edmonton Oilers might pay a lot for a guy like Bryan Rust is, of course, his playoff stats. If we do kind of look at them here, and the last time he made the playoffs, he had 8 points in 7 games. Been a solid playoff player throughout his career. In the early season when he did win the Cups with the Penguins, obviously it was like his first couple seasons, so he wasn't as amazing as you thought. But he has developed into a superb player, has 79 games of playoff experience, 35 points, 21 goals notably. I think he would be a help to the Oilers, and I think Kyle Dubas is someone who could look at this and be like, hey, Stan, over in Edmonton, why don't we take a look at Bryan Rust? I'll retain half. You can give us some players that you want off the books, but I want a lot of prospects and the best draft picks you have available, because he would look perfect with Connor McDavid on that first line, in my opinion. I think someone like Ike Howard might be moved down the lineup because it's his first season in the NHL. It would be very surprising if he could just come into the NHL and play first line with Connor McDavid. I know Connor McDavid was supposed to be an easy player to play with. I just don't see it personally. And then Matt Savoie of the also the Oilers also might not be able to step into that top 6 role. So having kind of a security blanket of Bryan Rust, I think is perfect for the Oilers. The only kind of wrench in this whole thing is, of course, the Oilers' cap space. If we do look at it, it's not a lot. You do have only $225,000. But again, I did say if you kind of wait closer to the deadline, they can accrue more cap space. The Penguins can retain half. You could trade a guy like a Matisse Janmark or Kasperi Kapanen. I know Penguins fans are familiar with him. To make the money work even better, and then you get Bryan Rust. I think it would be perfect for the Edmonton Oilers, and obviously the Penguins do have the ample cap space to kind of work out a trade in that manner. So, Oilers faithful, Penguins faithful, let me know what you guys think about Bryan Rust getting traded to Edmonton. Do you think it's the best place for him to go? I do kind of like the fit stylistically for Bryan Rust there. If Kyle Dubas wants to do good by the player, he is kind of known for doing that, so we'll see if he does that again. I like that a lot. But I personally think there could be better return packages for Bryan Rust if they wait a little bit longer. But I can see Stan Bowman getting a little bit desperate because he has pulled off some trades where the Oilers do need to bolster that top 6 forward, get some more depth, and really try and bring some more Cup experience. Because as we know, the Oilers, they've been this close to the Cup in the last 2 years, and I think Bryan Rust could be that player to push them over the edge. I think Kyle Dubas could be that GM that, again, I've said it all video, takes advantage of the situation and makes the Penguins come out better than before as they kind of kick into this, a little bit of a rebuild or a retool as they go into the next season. So, let me know what you guys think about that. Does it make sense? And, of course, we'll see you in the next video. Hopefully, you guys all have a good one. Make sure you guys subscribe. And, of course, peace out. Enjoy your day.